let's do some spring thrift flips. For project 1, I thrifted a couple of these pretty wooden baskets from the Goodwill Bins, and you might have saw that in one of my Goodwill Bins hauls. So I'm going to show you how I make these lavender baskets. So the first thing I do is I take some paper and kind of fill in the bottom, and then I take some stones, and I want to make the base nice and heavy so it feels very high end when you pick it up, and also so it doesn't fall over if someone accidentally knocks it over. The next step is to add in foam. So you can add in spray foam into these baskets. I didn't have any on hand, so I just used the floral foam that you could get at the dollar store or Walmart or Amazon. And the trick is to add the floral foam in as even as possible, all inside the basket. So you want the basket totally full with the foam covering all the rocks and all the paper. And so I just cut up pieces as I needed. And yeah, I just filled up the basket like that. All right, the next part is the fun part. So my middle daughter, Olivia, is doing her own basket here. But the next step is to put in your lavender stems or whatever other flower you want to add. And we tried to make each stem kind of the same distance apart. We wanted to make it look like a very full basket, but we also wanted to make sure we didn't have very many empty spots. So Olivia is here just arranging her basket, and she's doing a great job as well. Also, she's going to be adding some black stones on top of the green foam just to cover her foam up. And I'll show you in just a minute what I did with my lavender baskets. Okay, here I am adding my stems to my 2 baskets that I ended up making. And I really wanted to have dirt or something that looked like dirt at the bottom of my baskets. I wanted this to be a very high-end looking piece, something that you'd find in a high-end store, and something that would look good from all angles. So what I decided to do was mix up some brown paint, black paint, and coffee grounds just to get the dark look of dark, rich dirt. And then the coffee grounds provided the look of dirt. So this is what I'm doing here after I put in my lavender stems. I'm going to mix up all the dirt, and then I'm slowly going to use a paintbrush and spoon to apply it all over the green foam. And in the end, this is going to harden up really nicely, and you won't be able to see any foam, and it's just going to look like dirt in the lavender basket. For project 2, I'm going to take this coat rack / shelf that I found quite a while ago thrifting, and we're going to give it a makeover with some paint. Okay guys, so I'm going to be painting this whole wooden shelf in the color French Linen by Folk Art Chalk Paint. And my plan is to get a couple coats on this whole piece and then distress all the pretty detailing back and maybe some of these knobs, and then seal it in some white wax, and I think it's going to look awesome. So I ended up staging this piece with some of my vintage finds, and I think this looks absolutely amazing and much more high-end. For project 3, we're going to take a bunch of these frames that I found at the Goodwill outlet bins, and we're going to give them a makeover. I decided to paint a few layers with this milk paint, and all you have to do is add equal parts milk paint with water, and it turns into this really creamy, watery paint. And the thing about this paint is it dries and crackles and just makes it look so distressed in all the best ways. So I'm going to end up painting 2 to 3 coats of this milk paint on my frames, and then in the end I also end up distressing it and waxing it with white wax, and then a little bit of antiquing wax on some of the frames as well. Once these frames were all painted and waxed up, I ended up making my own backer with cardboard. I used vintage fabric to cover the backs, and then I used the last of some of my IOD seed transfers to put on top of the fabric, and I think these frames turned out so cute, so shabby chic, and perfect for spring. For my last and final project, I got these vintage music books from the Goodwill Bins, and we're going to make some vintage music bundle packs. So I love to do this because these vintage music sheets are perfect for display, decor, paper crafting, DIY, and so many things. And I just love to rescue these types of old books that are just going to be discarded anyway. So what I ended up doing is just pulling all the pages out individually, making 4 separate piles, and then just mixing the different books together to create a unique bundle of music paper. So after I made each bundle, I ended up wrapping it with some really pretty torn ribbon, and I think it's such a beautiful way to display paper, and I will be selling each bundle individually. I have some exciting news. I'm going to be doing my first Facebook Live sale on February 21st at 6 p.m. I would love if you could join. Join my Facebook group, Vintage Love & Co., and make sure you go to the events and sign up and be reminded for this Facebook Live sale. Everything that I made in today's video will be sold on that sale, and I can't wait to see you there. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.